Okay, hi everyone, and this is now game 21 of the Annotated Game series. This is Stefan Kronsforth versus Joachim Bothmann from 1988. I don't know anything about these players. What's really fascinating is that Black plays extraordinarily well, roughly for the first half of the opening, and then he stops. And so it's almost a tale of two different games. So let's dive in and see what we can learn. So it starts off, we got e4, e5, and got one of the gambits. Even though it's 1988, we still like playing some of these gambits here. Now, Black, I think, does the absolute correct choice. He first takes the first pawn, then he immediately breaks in the center. We've seen this time and time again. This is the move Black wants to make. If he can make it, great. And he doesn't even care that he might be giving up a pawn. Like, you don't need to recapture the queen. We can just play knight f6. Material is actually equal right now. Remember, Black took this pawn first, and so he can think about just developing, bring his pieces out, castling, and life is really, really good. Notice how it's so easy for Black to develop all of his pieces. Now, White doesn't allow that. White plays e5, which is not a great move, but it's somewhat common. One of the problems is, well, A, it's an unnecessary pawn move, right? It's not attacking anything by itself. It's not helping us develop. It's not even really controlling the center. This pawn might be more of a weakness than a strength. But it lets Black do anything in reply. Now, when you see the next move, g5, you might be thinking, aha, isn't Black making an unnecessary pawn move in the opening? And it's true, but it's still probably the best move. And one of the reasons why is that, well, one, Black is threatening now to play g4 next. So if White were to do nothing, right, we've got g4, Knight's going to move. Knight would love to go to e5. Well, can't, there's a pawn there. Can't go there because of the queen. In fact, no matter where the knight goes, queen goes to h4, check is coming. There's no g3, so Black is just, so White's toast. Remember the very last video, the very last game that I mentioned, is that whenever there is an f4 is played very early in the opening, we should be looking for those sorts of tactics. That's exactly what this is. This is playing g4, kicking the knight, let's go. And White feels, sorry, compelled to play h3. So we see the problems here. White is making weakening pawn move after weakening move. He's already got a weak king, and he's in trouble. Now Black finds an interesting move. He would love to put his knight to f6, but obviously there's a pawn there. But you see, by playing h3, there's now a weakness right here. So Black ends up playing knight h6, and then he's going to play knight goes to f5. And this knight on g6 is going to be worth its weight in gold. And now let's just pause for a second and also notice the secondary benefit of playing g5. How does this bishop get developed? It can't because the pawn's there, right? So it also can't go here, and going here is a really sad, ugly square. And so g5, if I'm backing up, just so we can understand it, again, our first thought might be unnecessary weakening pawn move. And it is that. But it's not unnecessary, actually. It's actually a very aggressive attacking move, threatening to take advantage of the big tactical weakness the white created for us. It's also making it really hard for white to finish development. And so, again, when I'm talking about these principles, we have to be careful that we don't just look at them superficially, is that they can inform our decisions at a very deep level, right? It's not just a beginner's course, is what I was trying to say. Anyway, so let's look at this. Bring the knight to f5. He ends up going knight to d3. And now we throw knight goes to g3. Now, this is a lot of moves with one knight. So let's not, let Black off the hooks too much. But that knight is incredible, and looks what happens. Now White cannot castle on the king side, right? And this knight is just, again, it's worth its weight in gold. So now all Black needs to do is really finish development. An excellent move is to fight back against the center with c5. Try and coerce the exchange this way, and then we can develop absolutely everything, get ready to castle, and life is really, really good. It's around here, though, where Black starts drifting. And I think what happened is Black sees all the success that he has with his Super Monster Knight, and I think he gets a little too fixated on that. So what does he do? He starts by developing a piece. Okay, there can't be anything wrong with that. Even though I think the bishop doesn't do very much more than it does in the original square. Again, c5 or knight c6, something like that is probably better. But anyway, knight goes to d2. And now I think what happens is Black sees what White's idea is. White wants to play knight f1, exchange the really, really good knight. And I think black gets so focused on trying to keep that knight that he loses sense of the overall opening principles. That is, what should he be doing? He should be castling. He already has pretty good control of the center. If he develops castles, he can then use his positional advantage. Instead, watch. He's going to play h5, trying to increase his hold over here, and then he's going to play g4. Again, probably wanting to get something with queen goes to h5 coming up next. But I want you to notice what happens after the following exchanges. Take, 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 take. Now let me just back up. So this is after move 7. Black has just spent a lot of time, but look where his knight has gone. And look, white is undeveloped. He's going to have to move the rook. Just look at black's position. Now I want you to look at it again 13 moves later. What's happened? Let me just do it one more time. So this is move 7, and then 13 moves later. Let's see if I can find it. Boom. Now it is black's to move. But I want you to notice that the knights disappeared, pawns have different. It's almost as if black is just lost, like 5 moves worth of material, or 5 moves worth of moves on the chessboard. And in comparison, what's happened with white? Well, white now actually has all of his minor pieces developed. He's got an open file for his rook, and he's just 2 moves away from castling, whereas black is nowhere near castling. And so what's happened is it appears that black was so focused on again, that kingside knight, like a positional factor, that he missed the forest from the trees. And he keeps doing that. Look, he ends up playing queen goes to h4. He's, look, aha, I see a pawn, I see a bishop, I got a fork, I'm going to win material. But after queen goes to d2, white is near fully developed. And black, he finally wins the pawn, good for black. But we should not be surprised that there's now a tactic. Why? Because black has just lost so much time. So again, the first thought shouldn't be just move the rook somewhere. The first thought should be is like, do I have a tactic? Is there something active, not passive? And after bishop goes to g5, we actually see a problem. The queen has no safe squares. Actually, has one safe square. It's here, but that would allow bishop goes to f5. Bishop is protected by the knight. Bishop takes h3, and black has just lost a piece. Whoops! So he can't do that. What does he do instead? Black in the game tried bishop goes to h6. And so we can't take because we lose our queen. But there's one more move. We're able to take the rook over. Let's count some material. 1, 2, 3 minor pieces. Only 2. So black is down a piece and black resigned. Which is hilarious because, again, if we were to back up, this is after 7 moves. Okay, it's 7 moves. Black has just played knight goes to g3. Computer says it's -2, so black is practically winning in this position. His position is so strong. We can then flash forward 7 moves later, here, and you can see the difference, right? Where white is now fully developed, completely fully developed, and black has just lost a huge amount of time. He's lost the knight, he's lost his pawns, he's lost everything. And then it should be no surprise, again, that there's a tactic here. And so you can let this be sort of a warning, is that you can play the opening extraordinarily well and still lose very, very quickly. Chess is a hard game. But if you're focusing on development, you're focusing on controlling the center, and you're focusing on king safety and on castling, you'll have more good games than bad, I hope. So I hope you enjoyed that. We only got, I think, like 2 games left. So we're fast coming to the finish line. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.